Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much for joining us on the Dance Bug Show.
Hi, how are you today?
I am very good, and you are in
Great.
Calgary, Alberta.
I am in Calgary, Alberta. It's a beautiful day here.
Oh, nice. It's actually quite nice here as well. So, what's the temperature like?
I actually don't know.
Don't know.
The
Is it
sky is
is?
blue, there's no smoke. We've been having a lot of smoke here from the fires, so it's blue sky
Oh,
today.
that's terrible. Well, I'm glad to hear that it's nice and clear. So
Thank you.
you own a dance studio, but I understand the route to get to the ownership of the dance studio was took some twists and turns. Tell me about sort of the history of Lisa.
At 16, I started teaching dance full time, even though I was in high school, every night and every Saturday at a dance studio, Annie Lawrence School of Dance. And from there, I was making four something an hour, literally $4 and something an hour. I'm 100. But the next year, I got offered $5 or $6 an hour. Thought I hit the jackpot, and I started teaching for Premier Dance Academy for the original owner, Linda Sugar, and swing by 15 years. I taught a lot. I helped her run the studio. I was the girl in the office in the summer taking registrations and helping parents because, as a studio owner, we all get tired. So she, kind of wanted her summer, and I eagerly said, I'll do it. So I helped sort of run the studio. And then she did have 3 girls that all dance, but none of them wanted to ever take the studio over or buy it. They all had their own careers. All in dance as well, but I was sort of like the fourth sister because I had been around for so long, and I had a baby and decided I was either going to be a stay-at-home mom or change my career path. And so I approached her and said, how we talked that maybe one day, and she's like, I'm ready, let's do it. So 15 years after I worked for her, I bought the studio, and I'm in my 21st year of owning it.
21 years you've owned the
21
studio.
years, yeah. So I've been with Premier for 36 years.
36 years. Now, you mentioned that you started teaching at 16. When did you actually start dancing?
I started dancing when I was 4.
4 years old.
And we won't tell you how many years that's been. It's been a few.
Unfortunately, we can't do the
dancing
math.
at 4. So I started dancing at 2 little small studios, eventually moved to the Annie Lawrence School of Dance that I worked for when I was 16. And then I changed to a couple other studios, and then decided that this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to teach dance. So that's the only thing I've ever known, teach dance. I worked at a dance store as well.
Oh, really? So your entire life has been dance.
That's right. And then I had 2 daughters. Shockingly, they're both dancers.
They are dancers.
Not anymore. The oldest one's going to be a nurse, and the youngest one's going to be a chef. But they both spent their lives here at the studio, and we try to keep it a very positive, family-oriented environment. Kids support each other. They're sad when their friends are sad. They're happy when their friends are happy. We're very much a family.
We have a lot of young dancers that watch the show, and all of them want to have a career in dance. Now, they all dream of dancing on television or dancing with Taylor Swift or being, a host of a reality show. But they also realize that one significant choice is to possibly own a studio. So what advice would you give a dancer who's maybe 15, 16 years old like you were and is really interested in dance? What can they do to best sort of set them up for possibly being in a position like you are and being able to have a career running a studio and owning a studio?
Right. I think one of the most important things is to realize that the teacher I was 36 years ago is not the teacher I am today. You need to stay updated with what's going on, which means I adjudicate across Canada. I go and see what every province is doing, and if we're on par in Alberta or in Calgary with other studios. And that's why it's one of the part of adjudicating that I love, but the other part I just love adjudicating, watching other kids and just seeing their creativity and their talent is amazing. I think for kids to open a studio, they need to do their homework. It's not an easy go. It's work. It's a lot of work. It's rewarding. There's days that you will cry, but there's days that make your life. When a kid comes and hugs you, or a 25-year-old emails you and says, I really miss you. You are the biggest influence in my life. So those kinds of things are important, but to do their homework, not just to open down the street from another studio. Do your homework, look at where you're going, look at what you want to do, what you want to offer for programs, and try to be unique.
You kind of built your career out of almost like an internship.
Sorry.
You found a studio, you said, I want to be here, and then you learned everything you needed to learn so that you could eventually take it over. Would you recommend that? Is that a good route?
It is a good route. You know, we have a lot of students here that are actually my teachers. They started here when they were 4, and then as they got to be in junior high, they get to apprentice and student teach in classes. Apprentices are junior high students, and student teachers are our high school students, and they don't get to actually teach the class, but they get to come and assist, and they learn how to teach a dance class, because dancing and teaching are not the same thing. Because they forget that when they were 6, they couldn't pirouette, or they couldn't do fouette turns, or they couldn't chaîné, or they couldn't jump like they can now. They were like, what do you mean? I'm like, you remember we actually taught you how to do that? So it's good for them to see the progression. So we get them to come help with the little kids classes and see how much work it is to teach preschool kids. It's not, I think it's one of the hardest things to do is teach the preschoolers. It's not the easiest class. I think it's the hardest class, it's the younger ones, because you've got to set that foundation for good technique and good class skills and that kind of thing. So we do allow that program. I've actually written a student teaching program that years ago was accredited by the Calgary Board of Education. Kids could get credit in high school. I'm trying to implement that program back as far as the education credit part for the high schools, but we do have that program here. I sit them down. It's about a 10 lesson. There's 3 levels. The first one has about 10 lessons, and it goes through every part of every genre, every style of dance, of things that you should do, things you shouldn't do, resources, learn. It's not just about dance here. It's about creating nice humans.
Good advice, and what I'm hearing is do your homework, put in the time, and you'll get rewarded, and you might have a career.
That's right.
and get all the positive things you mentioned. Fortunately, we've run out of time, but you do have a video that we're going to show. Can you set that up for us? Tell us what we're going to see and why you picked this particular performance.
Yeah, this is my senior tap group from a couple of years ago. My youngest daughter's in it. It was her graduating year, so one of the reasons I did pick it. But it was a great piece at the time because Bohemian Rhapsody movie came out. And funny enough, before the movie came out, I had already chosen this song for my senior kids. And then the movie came out, and as a team, we decided that when the movie came out, we all went and saw it together. So it was kind of a fun thing to do. We do things like that, nice events with our kids. And I said, okay, well, we're doing this song. Let's go see the movie together. So it's kind of special to me.
I want to thank Lisa Svekla for joining us. Thank you so much, Lisa. And she is, of course, the Artistic Director and owner of Premier Dance Academy Limited in Calgary, Alberta. Thank you so much for joining us, and hopefully we'll have you back later. Thank you.